we are in the another session in which we have been solving more PYQs to improve our for the GATE exam upcoming GATE examination. So let's continue. First question is based on the journal amplitude. Find logical numbers of the following sequences: 3, 7, 15, 31, and 63. As we can be easily understandable that 3 plus 3 is equals plus 1 is equals to 6, or 3 into 2 plus 1. In similar way, 7 into 2 14 plus 1 15, 15 into 2 plus 1 31, and 31 plus 31 into 2 62 plus 1 that 63, and 63 into 2 means 126, and plus 1 is equals to 127. We can look over that. Uh, Engineering mathematics question. Next question is on engineering mathematics. If the sequence matrix is singular, which one of the following statement must be logically be true regarding the 11th value? So it is mathematical question singular. First one, it is a matrix of it must be a true regarding the 11th value. So here, as we knew that it must be one of the digit, it will be a zero. So because for that only it determines the product of singular matrix only. The next question is on fiber science. When observed under the polarized light, which one of the following synthetic fiber exhibits a negative fringe bridge? So it is straight forward question. Here that negative fringe light, it is about the acrylic night or polyacrylonitrile. Next also fiber science question. Higher performance are mined fibers like Kevlar achieve the exactly higher strength and modules primarily because they are spun using the specialized method called as. Basically, Kevlar is using the dry air jet method for the spinning purpose. Next also is fiber science question. What is the moisture regain percent of nylon 6? It is also straightforward. It is 4% because of the nitrile group. Next question is on yarn manufacturing. In a combing process, the cotton spinning, which hooks represent the theoretically ideal for the fiber fringe, as it's fit in a comber cylinder. So we knew that in combing, many of the leading hooks are been there, whereas backwards hooks are been released it out and afterwards. For exact same yarn count of 30, the rotor spun requires the twist multiplier. That is typically requires how much? So for 30 count in a rotor spin as compared to rotor spun yarn, it requires 10 to 20% higher because of the less polarization and all that. You can see that process on a ring spinning frame. Under what condition it is necessary to use heavier travelers? For the coarser fibers we need the higher travelers. In a ring frame producing a 20 tex yarn at a spindle speed of 15,000 rpm and inserted about 1000 tons per minute. So what will be the front roller speed, lower speed? So it is means we have been given the RPM and tons per meter. So we need to be basically divide the 15,000 upon 1000, which will be giving the 50 meters per minute. Here straightforward because we can be get from the direct formula. In an airjet looms running from 600 picks per minute and weaving fabric of red width of 2.5 meters. What is the weft insertion rate for the loop meters per minute? So we need to be picks. We need to be multiply ppm by its meter so that we can get the actual picks for meter. So 600 into 2.5, it will be give around 500 meters per minute. fabric manufacturing in incising preparation. If a dry weight of an unsized warp sheet is 1000 kg, what is the weight exactly of 112 kg after begin to be sized and completely dried? What is the side added on the percentage? Here the similar formula means the after weight minus its original weight upon its original weight. The formula is used means 112 minus of 100, it will be given 12, and 12 by 100 it gives 0.2%. You can see the formula for sized and that one. Yarn manufacturing, other question also, a tapered shade mechanism on a loom. If the wave pattern requires four head shaft, what must be the rotational speed of the bottom tapered shaft relative to main crankshaft? So it will be give 1 by 4th. It is a straightforward question actually. Which double knitted structure is initial to 1 by 1 red fabric when knitted together, creating perfectly smooth, thin, and highest stable fabric what looks identically on both the sides. The face loops are looking over both the sides. It is thin and smooth and highly means it is an interlock structure, because in single jersey it will look on single side only. Next questions are on the chemical processing. Liquid ammonia treated of cotton is sometimes used as high-end alternative to the traditional sodium hydroxide and mercerization, which crystalline cellulose phase thus liquid the ammonia treated process. It is very PYQ means it is asked 2000, before 2005, and the answer for this is cellulose 3. Cellulose 3 because swellings happens and the material moisturization is improved. Here you can read the description for that. Wet dyeing have an expansional wash fasteners because they are directly insoluble in water. To dye the fabric, we must be a chemically convert the water soluble from known as it is chemical processing. And question, in which wet dyes are insoluble, so will leuco compounds are used to convert the water soluble to make the fabric water soluble. Next one, which must be the following thinker used for the print cotton and relative dye because the lack of chemical groups wouldn't accidentally reacted. So here the chemical thickeners are asked that, in which we knew that there are lot of thickness types, but because of its lack of chemical groups and would and accidentally reacted with the dye. So it is there. It is also asked in 2005, I guess, before 2005, and the answer is for this is sodium alginate. You can read the description for this hydroxy groups and primary hydroxy groups and reactive targets. That's all. The chemical process in a textile printing, immediately what print paste is dried on a fabric, it undergoes steaming process. The primary purpose of steaming is to the primary purpose of steaming is to basically make the fabric more absorbent the chemical paste and make it swell. To excess of thinner no, unprint background no, thinners into the fabric no, provides the thermal energy and moisture needs to be fixed into a dye. Yes. Next questions are on of textile testing. If the spool of synthetic yarn contains exactly 5000 meters of material and weight exactly 1000 grams, what is the dtx of the linear density express index? So here the 5000 meters are there, so we 1000 grams for the 5000 meters, which is divided by 5 means we get the 5000 divided by 1000, which will be gives 5. And next weight is exactly about 1000 grams. So 100 grams, detects formula is grams per meter. So 100 by meter 5 means 100 by 5 is equals to gives 20 dix. Here you can see the formula and all that, which I have already explained. In a stelometer, it is specifically laboratory instrument used to test the tensile strength and elongation of fiber bundles. It operates preciously on which of the chemical principle. So, stelometer, it is used for the CRL, constant rate of loading. It is the straightforward question because of the smooth geometry and applications. Which one of the following modern high-speed instrument considers industrial individual sizing, counting, and cotton? So it is a modern machine which is there is a FIS, here Advanced Fabric Information Machine, which office also reads to many of the other factors like color and that all. You need just to be read that. Which one of the following instrument used for the specialized optimum method to objectively measure the fabric trap by analyzing the following shades? So, according to the trap means analyzing the shade. Though we need to be analyzed. So here the illegal tester, no. Shelley stiffness, no, it is not. Trade tape tester, yes, because it is cellular fabric and the light is inserted, and from that we need to be get understand. Next one is engineering mathematics questions. Now here it is a function that fx is equals to 2 e raised to 2x into sine x. So we need to be take the derivatives. So here we have been using the formula like u derivative of u into v, which gives the u integrate derivative into v minus of v derivative of u, which will be give e raised to 2x, e raised to 2x, and e raised to 2 e raised to 2 x into 2, because 2x derivative is 2, and into sine x, which is v, and after that e raised to 2x, which will be remain constant, and sine derivative will be cos. So here we can take the constant e raised to 2x. Here is the form right answer we get it. Next one is fiber science question. A jigger dyeing machine is primarily designed to dye a fabric in which of the specific format? So jigger dyeing machine is basically used for the open but with batches only. Continuous batches, no, it is not wrong. We need to be mostly jigger. We have just understood the open bath, but tricky questions here has been asked open or sorry batched open with or continuous open with. So here we need to be understand it will be a batch open with. In a glass transition temperature, Tj is the point where an amorphous polymer transmits from rigid solid to the flexible rubbery state. Which one of the following fiber has lower Tg? So here lower Tg, well, we know that many of all synthetic polymers have been lower Tg. Polyester, yes, spandex, nylon 6, and acrylic. Here the spandex is right answer because it is lower than as compared to other. It is given that minus of, it is typically minus 50 degree Tg. Means just imagine that. Next is, yeah, fabric manufacturing question. Dedicated the physical maximum limit peak density, the maximum number of webbed yarns that can be packed into the centimeters. So it so let's see the options in a warp diameter and view interlacing geometry. Yes, it will. In a tension of the yarn. Yes, we need to be just get the first yarn. It is coarser, finer, or which type simple, dual, and type of geometries which are being utilizing there. So this we are ending up this session.